Another one of the stories that I wanted to share was the stuff that happened when I was at the Dr. Joe Advanced Seminar. And I don't know whether or not this is pertinent, but it's fun. So it was in Cancun for a week, and I had already done the shorter seminar, the one that's 3 days. And I was going to Cancun for the week to do the advanced seminar. When I arrived in Cancun, it was a really different experience for me because every time I had been in Cancun before, I had been working for Esther. And I knew exactly who I was and exactly what I needed to do, and I didn't have any question about any of that. And so when I showed up in Cancun as a client instead of one of the crew, I felt totally lost, and I walked into a wall of shame. A really, really, really big wall of shame. It felt like a wall of shame that everybody in the world that had ever felt shame all combined all at once for me to feel that level of shame in that moment. I was telling a friend about it afterwards, and she said, "For what?" And I said, I don't really know. For everything, it felt like. For everything I had ever done wrong, for everything that I had ever co created with anybody that could have been considered wrong. I don't know. It was just huge, and it felt like I couldn't move. Um, anyway, to make a long story short, or a short story long, the way Dr. Joe works is he has a segment of science where he talks to us about, the way your brain works and the way creation works and the way it interacts with your physiology and those kind of things. And then you do a guided meditation that takes into account the things that you just learned. So the very first meditation, I went in immediately and I saw like a black and white movie. I was about 4 or 5. I was looking up at my mom, big blue eyes, long, curly, blonde ringlets, um, you know, not much higher than knee height. Looking up at my mom, and she was shaking her finger at me, and she was saying, "You should be very, very, very ashamed of yourself." And I had no idea what it was that I had done, but that was the scene that played before me in black and white. And then, one of the things that he has us reach for is what he calls full on sensory experiences without your senses. And the experience was remarkable. It was just that. I felt like I was a pillar of light. I felt like when my mom was a pillar of light, I recognized her as my mom. I felt like my dad was also a pillar of light. And she came to me and held me as the pillar of light and said, "You must never, never, never be ashamed of yourself." That shame fell away, and I cried and cried and cried and cried. It was an amazing and incredible experience, and every bit as real as my waking everyday experiences now.